Well, the Knicks season comes to an end last night in Game 6 in Indiana against the Pacers. Kind of a lackluster performance. It was never really close. It was never really in doubt, to be honest with you. The Knicks played with them through the first half, but the turnovers, the lack of three-point shooting, the defense, again, reared its ugly head, and the Knicks just couldn't overcome all of that. And a 3-1 series deficit, and losing the first two games at home, and a collapse in game one, and it was all just too much, and it went by the wayside, and the Knicks are eliminated in game 6. We're going to have a Knicks fan, a buddy of mine from work, correction officer, Miraj, is going to come on the show in just a little bit, and you're going to get a sense of the Knicks fan perspective. And, I'm a Knicks fan, but you get my perspective every day. You know what I feel and think about this team and the series, and it is what it is. But listen, as far as last night goes, the Knicks, I told you that what happens in series like this is that the team that has Game 5 at home, that's trailing 3-1, generally wins Game 5 and then loses Game 6. And that's exactly what happened. Listen, I think this series was lost in Game 1. And I sat here and I said, series aren't win or lost in game 1, and I'm telling you I was wrong. Because it was a historic collapse, giving up, just an avalanche of threes in 2 minutes, blowing a 14-point lead, then taking the lead in overtime and blowing it again. They had two big collapses in one game, and they just couldn't overcome it. And then 2 nights later, when they dropped game 2, they weren't coming back from that. Knicks aren't good enough to come back from that. Think about it. The Celtics couldn't come back from dropping the first 2 at home. The Cavs dropped the first 2 at home. They couldn't come back. You know who came back? OKC. And they're the best team in the NBA. I don't think the Pacers would have been able to come back if they dropped the first 2 games at home. It's too tall of a task to ask these teams that are not great teams. The Knicks are a very good team, but they're not a great team. And we saw that the defense is just, awful. The problem with the Knicks is they get in these holes 15, 20 down, and you're trying to come back. And yeah, it's worked a couple times because the team went cold or whatnot. But when they try to come back, you can't be trading hoops. You got to get some stops. And the Knicks can't get a stop to save their life when they need it in a big spot. They can't. If you need a defensive stop in a big spot, the Knicks don't get it. They had the 2 against Boston in games 1 and 2, but it's different. That was different. When the Knicks, they had the lead there. They listen, when you're trying to come back against a team like the Pacers who are going to put up a lot of points, they're not going to, eat the clock on offense. They're going to just go and, they're going to run. You need stops. Especially when you're not hitting threes and you're turning the ball over left and right. They had 18 turnovers. And Brunson, disappointing last night. Bottom line is Brunson was disappointing last night. He did not play well last night. Cat did not play well last night. And when your 2 guys who are your 2 stars stink on defense, they're liabilities on defense, 2/5 of your men on the court are liabilities on defense, and then they don't produce and play their game and play well offensively, you don't stand a chance. Last night is what you get when that happens. And, there's some questions around Brunson. I know listen, Brunson's the best point guard the Knicks have probably had since Walt Clyde. He's gotten the team this far, but can he win a championship? Can Brunson be the guy on a championship team? I don't know. I don't know if he can. He's undersized. Listen, he plays his heart out. He's a hell of a player. He scores a ton of points. He's got an endless motor. He is injury prone. He does get hurt. He's small. He's bad on defense. He gets into foul trouble. There's a lot of negatives. He was sloppy with the ball in multiple games this series. Bad turnovers. He had 3 or 4 turnovers last night that you just shook your head and you're pulling your hair out. Going, what the hell are you doing? Where are you passing that? The one that comes to mind was when he tried to do a little floating pass from the top of the key into the lane, and it was just picked off. What were you thinking? And then the Knicks didn't shoot any threes. They were 28% from three. They just and the Pacers were 50% from three. You can't overcome that. I said that the Pacers weren't going to no-show this game like they did Game 5. Game 5 was lost by the Pacers more than it was won by the Knicks. Pacers just went through the motions that night. Last night was their Game 7, so they were going to show up. And they did show up. I don't know if the Knicks did, though. The Knicks, it just wasn't crisp, and there were the turnovers, and you can't hit threes. And listen, Karl-Anthony Towns is a good player. He's a different type of 7-foot player. He's not really a rim protector. He can't play defense. He does hit threes. He can drive down the lane with the best of them. He goes barreling down that lane. Look out. And when he's feeling it and he's having a good night, that's what he does. Last night, he did not have a great night. He put up the numbers. Him and Brunson's going to get his points. Towns is going to get his points. You can't really look at that. Just watch the game. Towns and Brunson didn't have good games last night. And when Towns and Brunson don't have good games, the Knicks can't win. And when they do have good games, the question is, can they win a championship? Now, I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. Thibs has gotten a vote of confidence from Leon Rose and from Brunson, and they asked Brunson about Thibodeau and his future, and is he the right guy? After the game, that's a little touchy, right? And he got a little ticked off with it. He said, "You really asking me that right now?" I see where he's coming from, but you also got to ask the question. If you're a reporter, you got to ask that question. So I don't blame either one of them. And listen, Thibodeau's a good coach. And it's got to be, and it's so frustrating for him. It's got to be frustrating for him. He's a defensive coach. He loves defense. He has coached excellent defenses in this league. And he's got a team that can't stop a nosebleed. I mean, Brunson is a walkover. Towns' footwork is disastrous. Mikal Bridges is okay on defense. You know who had a great game last night was Mitchell Robinson again. He kept them in the game. In the first half, that game would have been a 15-point lead for Indiana. Mitchell Robinson got grabbed about 6 offensive rebounds. He was all over the court. He was blocking balls. He was in the lane. He was making even a couple baskets. Mitchell Robinson was the star of the game for the Knicks last night. The problem is if Mitchell Robinson is your best player, you can't win against a team like the Pacers. He was excellent. He played his heart out. He had a great series. I think he's a perfect guy for a 6-man. But after that, after Mitchell Robinson on the bench, you get to people like Landry Shamet and Dylan Wright. And yeah, it's really thin after Mitchell Robinson. And I know those guys came on and they played good minutes this series and during this run. But you can't have those guys on the floor that much. The Knicks got to get better. They got to get deeper. They got to get somebody that can play defense. They got to be, nights like last night, they couldn't hit the 3. They couldn't win. The Knicks were, 28%, but they were 28%. And if you watched the game to the end, you saw that Shamet hit about 3 or 4, 3 pointless threes that didn't really count because the game was already over. Garbage time threes. And if he didn't hit those 3 or 4 in the last 2 minutes, the percentage could be 19%. You can't shoot 19%, give up 50% from beyond the 3-point line and expect to win. And then when you're trying to come back, and the Knicks were trying, and they was trying and they'd get a couple big buckets, they'd give one up right on the other end. They'd give it right back. And a lot of times the Knicks be scoring a 2, and there'd be a 3 at the other end. And the math doesn't work. So we go into the offseason, lot to talk about, a lot going on with the Knicks. As far as OKC and Indiana goes, I think it's going to be a tough road to hoe for Indiana in that series. But we will get into that at a different time. Today's about the Knicks. And, listen, They weren't good enough. And now the 3 best seasons in the past quarter century for the New York Knicks have been ended by the Indiana Pacers. And these Pacers Knicks series are great. We love them. That was a lot of fun. And Knicks fans, as much as it hurts today, you're going to look back, and you're going to look back at this run. Maybe it might take a week. It might take 10 days. It might be tomorrow for some of you. But you're going to get over the anger and it's because it sucks. It sucks when you're this close, right? You can see it, you can taste it. They had the championship. They were 6 games from a title. And they let it slip through their fingers. And I think it ended in game 1. And I think that 2 minutes in the end of that game, just, it was tough to come back from. I didn't think it would end the series, but I think now that it's over and you're looking back, I think it did end the series. It's over in game 1. So a disaster as the Knicks lose. But you're going to look back on this and you're going to say, you know what? That was a lot of fun. Knicks played until June 1st. June 1st. And they were so close, 6 games from a championship. Before you start dismantling it and saying, what do we got to do? What do we got to do to get those extra 6 wins? You'll kind of be able to look back and say, you know what? That was a lot of fun. And this team is a team that we could be proud of, that took us to places that they haven't been in 25 years. But they're not where they need to be yet to take that next step. And I don't know. I don't have the answers. I don't know if it's Thibs. I would keep Thibs because who are you going to get to coach? If there's somebody out there, then I could see, parting ways with Thibodeau. But he's a good coach. He's done a good job here. Back-to-back 50-win seasons. Multiple all-star starters. A huge upset against the hated Celtics in the playoffs. Beating a feisty Detroit team in the playoffs. Last year, advancing to the second round. The Knicks are a legitimate basketball team again. Madison Square Garden is back to being the mecca of basketball. Now, if the Knicks could only win there, that would help a lot too. but anyway, so let's get to our guest. He's a correction officer. I work with him. His name is Devin Miraj. Call him Ja. He is he's a big Knicks fan. I figured we'd get him on here, get the Knicks fan perspective, see how Knicks fans are dealing with this today, the day after the run ends. So here's my interview. I just spoke to him a little while ago. So here's my interview with Devin Miraj. We call him Ja. We'll see you on the other side, everybody. We got a big one for you here today. Knicks, of course, lose out in 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. Indiana advances. A lot of things going on with this game. I got a buddy of mine, Ja, from I work with him at correction officer. He's a very well respected correction officer inside the building, and he's a highly decorated, very well respected. It's an honor to even have him talk to me at this point. So, but anyway, welcome to the show. He's also a huge Knicks fan. He's going to sit here and we're going to have this Knicks funeral rather than preview Game 7, which is what we wanted to do. What's up, Ja? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, so this is why I have the Louis Vuitton shades on.
Yeah. He's outside. Listen, I can't pull off Louis Vuitton shades. And women's ones at that, right? You get women's ones at that. So anyway, listen, the Knicks, they dug themselves a hole. They couldn't get out of it. They're down 3-1. They get Game 5 at the Garden, and they go back, and that was a wire-to-wire victory for the Pacers. What was the issue last night? Why couldn't they get this thing back to New York?
So last night, as I was saying, that we were out-coached. As you can see, we were out-coached. Thibodeau doesn't know how to make adjustments during the game, I feel. He doesn't know how to make those adjustments. Like the Pacers coach, didn't he win a championship?
Carlisle? No. The Pacers? No, he hasn't won a championship.
He been to the finals.
Not as a coach. No. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and then they made it 20 years with Reggie Miller. They made it to the finals and lost, but he wasn't on. He was on the Knicks when they were with Carlisle, But he's a good coach.
But he's a good coach, man. He's a good coach because on paper we actually have the better roster and a better talent.
Mm-hmm.
But he got these guys running around with their heads cut off.
Yeah, but
And we got,
do you think the problem was that maybe like the two best players stink on defense, but Thibodeau's a defensive coach too, right?
all right, there you go. There, Towns is he's. I'm sorry, I love the guy, but he's horrible on defense.
Horrible.
He he can't move his feet. Mitch Robinson is excellent on defense. If he could get some ways from Mitchell Robinson, they could work on his footwork. That's what I think they have to do in the offseason. He doesn't have to work on anything but his footwork
Who
and
will you?
his
Cat.
cat.
Yeah, but
Because
don't you think that maybe like. I mean, listen, him and Brunson are terrible on defense. We get it. They get into foul trouble. You got Brunson's committing fouls 20 feet away from the ball in the first quarter, and they have to be careful. They got to be more careful because him and Brunson are both going to catch an offensive foul somewhere along the line, right? The cat goes barreling down that lane all the time. He's going to run somebody over, get an offensive foul. And when they have 3 or 4 fouls, now you got these guys sitting on the bench. And as far as Mitch goes, Mitch is like, he's good in spurts of like 5 minutes, but when you play him for longer, like 8 minutes, 10 minutes, you can't.
no,
You see, you get
can't play him
diminished
for that long.
returns.
You can't play him for that long. He's a good center coming off the bench. I like him coming off the bench 3, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, the most. And Cat, this was bad. I had a bad night. I haven't even turned on the TV yet to watch anything.
Yeah, I believe
I
it.
probably won't turn. Yeah, I probably won't turn on the TV for a couple of weeks. You're the closest I'm gonna get to TV.
Yeah, do you want a new coach?
I don't say a new. I still like him as a coach, but he has to work on his adjustments in mid game. Like you're not making no adjustments. Like in the fourth quarter, like what I was saying, Halliburton had 5, 6 floaters in a row in the same spot. So if Brunson was to do that, they make adjustments. Am I right or wrong?
No, yeah, you're right. But also, don't you think that Brunson is better than Howard? Was supposed to be better than Halliburton, and he was thoroughly outplayed by Halliburton this series. Brunson, you're right. They could make adjustments, but they couldn't stop him. And Siakam was just raining threes. The Knicks are a better team. It's a disappointment. I mean, and also when it comes to Thibodeau, I feel like maybe he's a defensive coach, right? But he hasn't changed with the game. He's almost like it left him behind because he doesn't know how to defend the three. Knicks get killed on the perimeter every game. You know, there's open guys, they drive and kick, and there's somebody wide open that's there to bury down a three. And the Knicks don't hit threes. That's what killed them last night.
It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. He's a defensive coach, but there was absolutely no defense in the fourth
The
quarter.
Knicks don't play defense. But we know the Knicks don't play defense, right? They're going to have to outscore everybody. Like, that was something that's a problem, but we knew that the Knicks didn't play defense. Everybody knows that Cat and that Brunson stink, and Bridges is a disappointment. Bridges was not worth 4 first-round picks. He's a role player. He hits no shots in the first 2 quarters ever. I like OG. I like Cat. I like OG. I like Brunson, and then everybody else to me could be as expendable, and they could work on making the better team better.
So OG's a big part. OG is a big part of this team. That's probably my favorite player on the team. I think he is the most important to me. He's one of the best two-way players in the game. And I think Bridges is because Bridges on last year on Brooklyn, he was the star player.
Yeah, on the Brooklyn, they won like 15 games though. I could be the star player on some garbage team, right? I mean, but I think he was. I think they oversold Bridges. Like he came. I remember when Bridges got traded to the Knicks. It was like middle, so it was out of the blue, out of nowhere, and everybody was like, "Oh, they got Bridges."
Happy.
Yeah, for what? A role player?
It's
10 points a game.
But you got this. It's because the way he was playing with the Nets, he was the number one option.
Yeah, but if you look at his numbers, because I looked at during the season. If you look at his numbers, they basically matched what he put out. Like, this is who he is. It is who he is. He's an okay defender, but he was getting burned in this series. The Knicks were supposed to win this series. That's what bothers me. Is like, listen, I get it. And right now you're upset, we're pissed, and we don't want to watch TV, and you don't want to, you barely want to talk about the Knicks. But it's going to come in a couple days. It'll get better, and you'll be like, wow, you know what? That really was a fun run, right? That was a good season. This was a great season. They almost tore down New York City for the Eastern Conference Finals. Imagine if we would have won the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, you can't be burning that. Like, let's act like we've been there before, right? Yeah, this whole jumping on light poles outside 7th Avenue because they won a game in the second round. It's the second round, right? It's New York City. Let's get our act together.
Yeah, New
Embarrassing.
York
It was
fans.
embarrassing. Are you one of the ones out there on the light pole hanging from the thing?
I didn't go out there because
No, but
I
you
would have
would
been caught
be.
on camera.
Yeah, but they ain't gonna know you anyway.
I
You got
would,
they're gonna say like the tall black guy with the lady sunglasses.
but I'm 6'8".
I know you are. Yeah, yeah.
You're gonna know me. You're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
point me
you're
out.
right. You're right. You're right. You can't. You're gonna be like, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. Be like, there's not many 6'8"
Guys,
guys out there.
guys, this
What
is my favorite white boy. This is my favorite white boy at
That's
work. I
right.
just
That's
wanted to
right.
put that
That's right.
in.
And as decorated and well respected as you are, listen, I know how to use the
It's an
spray,
honor.
right? I just spray it, man. I just spray it. I'm not fighting these guys. I tell them all the time. They're like, yo, why don't you fight me? I go, because I'll lose. Like, let's be real. I'm not gonna fight you. Are you tough like this in the town? No.
No.
Not like this in the town. I don't have this button to push where people come. Well, people sometimes come. But
Sometimes.
but anyway, so the Knicks. I mean, Brunson was. I was disappointed in Brunson. All right, he was not very good last night. He was careless with the ball. The Knicks turned the ball over 18 times.
Turnovers
Turnovers will kill you.
Turnovers. Brunson was making bad decisions. He wasn't playing like the MVP candidate that the Knicks. He was doing stuff like Randall did when he was in the playoffs.
Well, this year Randall was putting up triple doubles all over the place.
Yeah, he actually did good.
Yeah. Is Brunson enough? Is Brunson good enough to be the person on a team that wins a championship where he's the best player, where he's the star? Is Brunson good enough?
Yeah, he's good enough. He's good enough to be the star. As we can see, he's good enough. He had a bad Indiana Pacers, but if we didn't have him, we would have never got this far.
No, I get that. But now
If
you
we
want to
have-
get further, right? Now,
well,
now you've gotten this far. Now you
we
broke the
got this
wall.
far. So
You broke the
next
wall
year-
of the second round that you couldn't get past for 3 years, and now you're here in the conference finals. Next year, you don't want to go all the way back to the conference finals and lose, right? You want to go to the finals.
Next year, so Boston's out of it. That's the only team we had to really worry about. It should be a
That's the
championship
problem.
run.
You have to worry about the Pacers.
Now, we didn't worry about the Pacers, but you got to worry about the Pacers
Exactly.
because their coaching staff, they were well coached.
Yeah, they're a
These
good
guys
team.
were well coached, and they have defenders to rattle Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
But Thibodeau should have made some plays to like get Brunson off the ball. Don't let him dribble up the ball. Bring.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the Knicks offense is too much. It's too much. It's Brunson though. It's Brunson.
It's Brunson.
It's Brunson sitting there dribbling the ball till 10 seconds left on the clock. Then somebody he passes it. Then somebody comes, hands it back to Brunson, right? And he just kind of drives and he makes some kind of crazy shot. He's not a good 3-point shooter.
So isn't that easier to guard than what the Pacers do?
Yes, I agree with you.
It's easier to guard. So the coaching, he knew what he was going to do. He knew what he was going to do. Tom, that's what I'm saying. Thibodeau had to switch this. He had to switch this up, man. He got to switch this up. Let Brunson play the two, come up like he's a two guard. Bring Deuce in there to bring up the ball and take some of the pressure off him. Run him off of picks, like they do Halliburton every play.
What do you
He's
think?
running off of picks.
What do you think about the fact that Thibs then finally in the last 6 games decided to play these guys who haven't played in 6 months, right? The Knicks are up 40 points on the Celtics, and he's got a starting 5 out there, which God forbid one of them got hurt. I don't know what you're going to say. And then all of a sudden in the next series, it's a 10-point game, and game 3, a must win, and you got Shamet and you got Wright out on the floor together. I didn't have to look up DeLon Wright. I didn't even know he was on the team. He hasn't played in 5 months.
And
Now they're playing
so
big minutes.
That's another problem. He runs down the starters, and maybe they're tired. Maybe Brunson's tired.
Yeah, no, I would imagine they are. They play the most in the NBA as those stars because he doesn't go deep on the bench. But they don't have anybody either. You're not going to, as nice as Shamet was hitting some threes and Wright came in and he played some good defense, you're not going to win any kind of championship with DeLon Wright and Shamet as your bench, as your 6 and 7 guys, right? Or 7 and 8 after Mitch. You're not going to win. You need better talent. The Pacers are like a little league team. Everybody plays.
Everybody plays. They have more bench talent than us. We have more starter talent. They have more bench talent. So that'll be another thing we got to revamp this bench.
Yes.
There's some players that's available that we could revamp that you don't have to pay so much for. Am I right or wrong?
No, you are. You are. So you don't want to tear the thing down. You want to run it back, pretty much,
Yeah, I
except
don't
just
want to
add some
tear
pieces.
it. I don't want to tear it down. We got to get some new, Cat got to get a little more tough, man. You're in New York,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
You got to get a little more tough. Every time Cat goes to hole, he falls on the floor.
So does Brunson. I've never seen somebody on the floor so much as Brunson.
Yeah, but Brunson is 6 foot.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah,
He can
Cat's a
fall on the
weird
floor.
player. Cat's a weird player. He's a 7-footer.
Cat
He
is
plays a
7 foot,
game.
almost 300 pounds.
But he does go barreling down the lane sometimes with that. Like, he almost looks like a running back. But
Yeah.
that's when he's on. That's when he's feeling good and he does that. You can see he puts the ball under, he goes barreling down the lane. But he hits a couple threes, and then all of a sudden he feels like he's Curry, right? And that's the worst thing, because now he starts shooting these ridiculous shots that he's not going to hit.
So to win that game, they had nobody to stop him in the paint. Am I right or wrong?
No,
The ball,
yeah, okay.
they had nobody. They had nobody. Turner is soft. Am I right? Turner
Yeah,
is soft.
yeah. You're right, but they didn't hit any. Knicks didn't hit any threes, and also when they're trying to come back from 15 down, you can't be trading baskets. The Knicks would go down, get a basket, then they give one up. You got to have some stops.
And so off a made basket, I seen this too last night. Off a made basket, the Pacers got a basket within 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah, because they got a guy running down the court wide open.
So there should have been some adjustments for that. I would have made an adjustment for that, which was OG. You're not going to go get an offensive rebound. Go down there and cover the like a safety. Go cover him.
Yeah. Hart goes at that was the problem though coming into the series is Hart, is he going to crash the boards and go for the offensive rebound and have if he doesn't get it, there's a guy running free, in the secondary back there, and they just throw it down him and they fast break and they score an easy bucket. Like, it was a tough matchup for the Knicks. I know they were favored, and I know they would. They only won one more game during the regular season, but it would have been nice to get another Game 7 back at the Garden, kind of revenge from last year, because they would have won last year. They would have beat them if they didn't. The whole team didn't get hurt last year.
We played with a second unit last year, so that's why I thought we was going to win this year. But Cat, they have to toughen up Cat, man. They got to toughen him up. I love the kid. I love the kid, though. I love the kid, but this is New York, baby. We play tough.
Yeah. Like look at.
And don't mind, the refs didn't make it any better.
No. Don't complain about the refs now. They missed the call. They missed the call on the sideline when they called. I think it was Bridges out of bounds, and then he hit the three, and that was a big three. I don't think he was out of bounds.
He wasn't out of bounds.
He wasn't. But don't blame the refs. You dug yourselves a 3-1 hole. You lost the first two at home. They have no business winning the series. What was the problem? Okay, go ahead. What was your problem with the refs? What was it?
What is that, Game 4? You saw when they clobbered OG in the back of the head? Did you see that play?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. But did you see the one in the series before with Hart? When he basically pushed the guy into the bench? So it evens out. Yeah. It evens out.
I don't think it evens out, but I mean, the refs got to do it.
Trust me, if the NBA the last thing the NBA wants is Oklahoma City and Indiana as they're in the finals. They want New York, and they want the last thing they wanted was the Pacers to win this series.
And whoever else.
Yeah, and LA, they would love that. They would love LA. They would love the either the Clippers or the Lakers. They take either one. They would love any of the big cities.
New York made so much money going to the Eastern Conference Finals. You got at the coffee shop, you got to give them Knicks stuff. You got every store made money off the Knicks.
Yeah, of course. Of course. And the NBA makes money because of the TV. More people watch it. I always you know what I think you should watch, and I think you'd like it, is the NHL playoffs. There's nothing better. It's so much better than the NBA playoffs.
Maybe me and you go to a game. We haven't.
Oh, you've never been to a hockey game?
I've never been to a
my God. Because I went when I was at the Knicks game, I was sitting there, and it wasn't a great game just because it was kind of ho-hum, and the Pacers no-showed, and it was Game 5. But Ranger playoff games, there's nothing better than an NHL playoff game. I'm telling you, there's nothing. And I know it doesn't get the ratings, and I know people don't watch it, but if you just take the time, sit and watch an NHL playoff game, by the third period, you'd be like, I'm hooked. So
we got a date. Pause. We got a date.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely. But hey, listen. Well, what's your overall take of the season? Good season, or you just still too pissed off to talk about it?
I could go to sleep peacefully now, because
Yeah. Well, you're not the joke of the league anymore, right?
Yeah,
A serious team. Now the Knicks are a serious team.
They're a serious team. I enjoyed this was even they lost, but we haven't been to Eastern Conference Finals in 20 something years. It was still a great run. I'm proud of them, but we got to go back to the drawing boards. There's the Boston is out. Cleveland never wins in the playoffs. We have to beefing up. Pause. We got to get that bench. We got to get that bench.
Yeah, you need players on the bench.
We got to go to drummer. Let's get this bench. And I want to keep Tucker there. I love Tucker. We got to keep Tucker on the bench.
All right. Well, there you go. What about you don't like Shamet? I like Shamet. I like Shamet.
I like Shamet. He plays hard. He plays hard.
I'll tell you, he was hitting some threes at the end of the Knicks were only 28% from three yesterday, and it was only 28% because Shamet was ripping threes. The last 2 minutes of the game, he hit like 4 threes. I mean, they were cosmetic, but he hit 4 threes.
And he should play a little more with Brunson, I think. They should have threw him in with Brunson because he could hit threes. But Brunson, they have to cover for Brunson's non-defense.
I know. And he gets in foul trouble too. And he's just, I mean, it's like pull your hair out, frustrating. He reaches into some guy going down the lane in the first quarter with 9 minutes left, and he gets a stupid foul. And because of that foul, he's sitting on the bench for 5 minutes in the fourth quarter.
Dumb fouls, dumb turnovers. He didn't play good that game. He didn't play good this season.
That's why I said, is Brunson the guy that can win a championship for the Knicks?
He is the guy that can win a championship for the Knicks. I'm not going to lose hope in him.
Okay,
he's the best thing that New York have.
Yeah,
he's the best thing that New York have seen in years.
He's the best point guard they've had since Walt Clyde.
He's the best. He's probably one. He's the top. He's the best point guard in the league.
Yeah. The Tyrese Halliburton proved to said otherwise in this last week and a half. He outplayed him. He was better than Brunson in almost every game. Brunson was no good in game 7. Brunson was no good in game 1 and game 2.
But you got to understand, Halliburton is not guarding. They have all these people to guard Brunson. All of the defense is set up to guard Brunson. So he has to fight but you know what? When you get to this point, it's big. You're playing with the big boys, right? You're not playing. You're not playing some garbage team on a Tuesday night in October. You're in the Eastern Conference Finals. You're going to be playing a good team. You're going to be defended well. You gotta. If you are the guy that's going to win a title for the Knicks. And because that's it. If he wins the title for the Knicks, you're God, right? I mean, forget it. It's like Messier. Messier in New York, NBA. Back to the NHL. Messier in New York, he's God in New York. He can come here, stay anywhere, drink for free, doesn't matter. That's what you're trying to get. And to get to that point, you're gonna have to beat some good defenders. You're not gonna get cupcake guys rolling over. If I was guarding you just run over me. And also Towns has to show. He has to get his defense. Because that's hurting us. I'm mad this guy even beat us, man. That's one of my most hated players.
The Pacers have ended in the last 25 years. The Pacers have ended the 3 best Knicks seasons, and that's messed up. That's messed up. Right?
I feel like they don't play against watch when they play OKC. They're gonna get. It's like watch how they play.
Oh, they're gonna lose. No, they're gonna lose. OKC's the better team. OKC was gonna beat the Knicks too, though. I think.
But I think OKC was a better matchup. I think Knicks was a better matchup for OKC.
But the problem I have with Knicks fans is all year it was like, we don't want to get the pay. We want the Pacers. We want the Pacers. They were like jockeying their spot in the playoffs, and then they got the Pacers, and the Pacers kicked their ass, and they beat them in 6 games. Because it wasn't even as close as the series, as a 6-game series. It wasn't as close as I thought it would be. Each team had an epic collapse. The Knicks in game 1, Pacers in game 3. And the Knicks lost. Why can't the Knicks win at home? What's wrong with Madison Square Garden? That's a big thing too, right? You work your ass off to get the home court.
That's a big thing. But the Knicks was always a better road team the whole season.
Yeah, I know, but why? Why can't you win at the Garden?
Maybe
your home court. That's what I thought. That's what I think. I think it's just too much for them because they're all kind of quiet guys. The Nova Knicks. You don't see them out partying, right? Well, you're out partying. You're out partying. Do you see them when you're out partying?
I haven't seen them yet.
Do they come to your parties?
I haven't seen them
You
yet.
know,
I
I haven't been invited to any of your parties, so you better straighten that out.
you need to come to my parties.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't
You're
want.
married, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Maybe you should come to my parties.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there. All right, let's keep it on the
We keep that
quiet.
on the low.
But anyway, listen. Thanks for coming on. We got a Knicks fan, correction officer. I mean, listen. If I had to say one thing about this guy right here, he's very well respected.
Highly decorated.
Highly decorated. His name is Ja. He's a correction officer in New York City. He's my buddy. And hey, man, thanks for coming on.
Here's my buddy, man. Thanks for having me, man. We're gonna do more work. We'll do
Absolutely.
More work.
How about that? Thank you to Devin Miraj. Like I said, we call him Ja. In the jail, correction officer, New York City correction officer, RNDC, works with me. Very well respected, like I said. Very well, very highly decorated. But you see that, he's pissed off. That's a crappy way to end, especially when you're better than you were favored in the series. You were favored in the game last night. They're better. They're better players, supposedly. But, you say they have better players, but Halliburton, to me, looked a lot better than Jalen Brunson in the series. And he outplayed him. Siakam looked better than Karl-Anthony Towns. And Hart was hit or miss. And Thibodeau, questionable decision. So the Knicks got a lot of things to clean up, but you're going to look back, and it's going to be something that you look back on fondly. I promise. Because that's how it is with the Mets. With me, with the Mets from last year, I look back on that season fondly, and it was a great time. And listen, you got some basketball to the end of May, almost into June, right touching the tip of June. But there's still work to be done if they want a championship. It's been a long time since we've had a championship in this town, a long time. The Giants are the last time that New York has seen a championship. We thought maybe we got close a couple years ago with the Rangers. Got close last year with the Mets. The Yankees win the World Series. The Knicks this year to the conference finals. We're getting there. We're getting closer. We'll get there eventually, one of these days. But we want to thank Ja for coming on, giving us a couple minutes. I want to don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. We're going to put his social media, if you want to get in touch with him or anything, in the show notes. So take a look at that on the description below. Like I said, rate, review, and subscribe. Every little bit helps. Don't forget, you can catch us anywhere you get your podcast. You can catch us on YouTube, and you can always catch us on our website, lockedupsports.net. Lockedupsports.net. So that does it for me. That does it for the Knicks. A disappointing Game 6 loss. They go into the offseason, and we see what they can do next year. From the Brian Gunzel Studios, I'm Bob Walters. See ya.